source of inspiration? I mean, this forum is about leading with purpose. Do you have a good example in mind of a leader with purpose in history or present time?
One of my inspirations, who I've been able to meet several years back, was Yunus. He won the Nobel Prize for microlending and set up the Grameen Bank. Just someone, again, with a simple but very scalable and brilliant idea that really has moved, tens of thousands, if not millions of people out of just dire poverty and empowered them with that loan and that credit and that access to the finance system. I mean, things in Switzerland, we're at the epicenter of the finance system, and you forget so many, millions and millions of people around the globe don't have access to even a bank account. So to get them integrated, even with just, again, a very small amount of money so they can start that family business, makes just a world of difference. So he's someone I, again, just super admire, and again, the scalability of what he has done for the world is super impressive.
Franklin Roosevelt. He led the whole people out of the Great Depression with a plan that was radical, controversial. It caused the wrath of the bankers, who hated him for it, right? It didn't tell everybody what they wanted to hear. It said a lot of things that many people did not want to hear. This is important for leadership. It's the opposite of populism. Populism is telling everybody whatever they want to hear. Leadership means you say, hang on a second, you want this, but you know what? You shouldn't want this. You should want that, because then you will be better off. So politics or finance, which tries to stroke the ears of the audience, is not leadership.
Purpose-driven leadership, I think, is coming up from all different areas. I think that two individuals come to mind when I think about showing strong leadership in this space. One is Sir Ronald Cohen, who is the chair of Bridges Ventures and the Portland Trust. He's been leading the efforts on impact-weighted accounting in partnership with Harvard University. This framework, I think, will really change how companies are viewed one against the other, because they will be reporting on their impact as it relates to all of their inputs in their business models, as it relates to how their goods and services are consumed, which is incredibly important, right? Because there are a lot of things that we take for granted. For example, water, impact on biodiversity, that aren't quite within the existing accounting framework. So that initiative and that leadership, I think, is incredibly critical. And then leadership from individuals like Bill Gates, who are financing early stage venture technology, early stage solutions to these intractable issues where there is a lack of funding. And I think that will be incredibly critical in terms of really bringing some of this innovation to market.
Okay, so like two figures.
Two figures.
I would say I've always looked up to people like Adam Said and Lauren Bush. Lauren Bush obviously gone on to do Feed. I think that Adam has brought a principled entrepreneur approach into building ACE. And so I think for us, it's more about saying, what is success? Is success about making a lot of money but having no personal life and no health? We look at mission and purpose and how are you leading your life? What are the ethics behind how you're making your money? And are you healthy and happy? That's, to me, mission and purpose.
I'm going to mention someone that probably nobody knows, but it's someone that leads a company that plays a role in every single one of our lives. And that's Jim Hagemann Snabe. He's the chairman, actually he just stepped down as the chairman of Maersk. And Maersk is the biggest shipping company in the world. And Maersk is the alpha male in this industry. And the alpha male a few years ago, under the leadership of Jim, decided that they would lead the journey for the industry to decarbonize. And they took a decision to actually put clean ships on water over a few years, even though the technologies to do that were not available yet. And so they put money into developing those technologies and a combination of different technologies and fuels and so on. And finally, they ended up with a solution that now they're starting to implement. What I find interesting here is a company taking responsibility to clean up itself, but because it's the alpha male in the industry, also to take the leadership to push the rest of the industry to clean up itself. And I think that that's really the kind of leadership we need.
I think in my little experience, one model was Bob Kennedy, because as a minister of justice, he guaranteed the access to university to the black people with the presence of army, American army, guaranteed the access, free access of a young black student in a university in 60s, because he was the guy who tried to fight against the inequalities, because he was the guy who tried to support the diplomatic dialogue during weapons, missiles crisis in Cuba in 1962. So, my opinion, Bob Kennedy.
First name that comes to mind is probably Al Gore, and I want to use this example because not only did he do a great film over a decade ago, but he stuck with it. A lot of people, especially in politics, will make great speeches and then not follow through. So being driven by purpose also means sticking to your beliefs when others put them in doubt. And we've gone through that, and he has gone through that. Not only bringing public awareness into this, but also backing investment firms like Generation Capital, which he actually backed to do impactful investment before anyone would. And since then, we've seen that investment space grow. And so he was not only a leader at the political level, but also at the business level. I think that type of, I want to say, leadership is what one should seek.
I really like the entrepreneur that is saying, I'm going to get up and I'm going to change the health in my community or my state, and it's going to affect 10,000 people, and if I do my job well over 30 years, it's going to make this impact. And if I'm never on the front of Inc. magazine, I'm fine. You know, it's that kind of humble leadership, and I think we need more of those people. I think young people are enamored when they go to conferences like this to say, oh, I want to be that person on the stage one day to do that. That doesn't really matter. I mean, at the end of the day, if you want to create real impact, you want to do it for your family, your friends. It's not for fame.
By the way, I think it's a maximalism between us. Leadership is enough. To be a leader, you have purpose. Yeah. You don't need to have leadership with purpose. If you don't have purpose, you don't have leadership. So the word leadership is enough. Okay? It must be purposeful. Otherwise, it's not leadership. Otherwise it's followership. if it lacks purpose.